Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So, on Thursday of last week, it was announced that mega giant talent agency CAA agreed to sell itself to an investment firm by Francois-Henri Pinault. Pinault owns the investment firm Artemis, and if you don't know Artemis, well, you're certainly not alone. But you do certainly know all of the brands that it currently owns, and that includes Gucci, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, and the auction house Christie's. Now, you might be saying, well, that might be big news in Hollywood and for luxury brands, but what the heck does that have to do with me as a marketer here in the real world? Well, I think it might be one of the biggest indicators yet that content marketing is now starting to drive marketing strategy full stop. You want to know more? Well, this is 5 minutes. All right, maybe a little more this week because there's a lot to unpack here of what you need to lead in marketing. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with the Content and Marketing Strategy News. It is what's new, but as you know, it's more importantly what's important in our world of marketing. And for the best and best practices, you know you can head on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com. So over the last week, Hollywood saw some of the biggest news since the SAG and AFTRA strike earlier this year. That was that CAA has now sold a majority of its stake to the French investor Francois-Henri Pinault. Now, CAA has been the biggest talent agency in Hollywood for some time, but it truly got to jihugic status, and that's a technical term, jihugic, after acquiring ICM Partners last year, and that was another one of the biggest agencies in Hollywood. Now, the firm represents just about everybody that you would see as A-list talent in the business. That includes Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, Zendaya, Ryan Murphy, Margot Robbie, Samuel Jackson, more and more and more. And also sports stars. They've gotten into the sports business as well, with representing stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, Aaron Rodgers, Dwayne Wade, and so on and so forth. Now, the key here isn't that CAA represents these big celebrity influencers, but in how it became such a powerhouse in Hollywood. It was one of the first agencies to really get proficient at packaging, which means pulling talent and putting together whole shows, companies, tours, etc., basically building media businesses with assembled talent. And in fact, CAA has an entire division now called CAA Ventures that creates media-based startups across all kinds of industries, including, by the way, marketing and content marketing with CAA's brand studio. Now, what does that have to do with us at all? What does all this acquisition stuff have to do with us in the real world of content marketing and marketing? Well, the key thing to understand here is this. Over the last few years, luxury and fashion brands, the core staple, by the way, of Artemis's holdings, have been evolving and leaning in hard to digital content and looking more at media and experience branding as well. The core of content marketing here, in other words, operating as a media company. For example, Gucci has been one of the more pronounced success stories of brand innovation over the last few years, and they are leveraging experiences, partnerships with celebrity influencers such as Harry Styles, and they feature environmental, diversity, and other promise-focused issues to create a much more media-driven brand for Gucci. So earlier this year, Saint Laurent, another Artemis luxury brand, has also done some things. They launched their own movie studio and premiered their first film, Strange Way of Life, starring Ethan Hawke and Pedro Pascal, at the Cannes Film Festival, directed by Pedro Almodovar. So yeah, content marketing at its core with both of those brands. A brand not just creating content, but operating like a media company. You see the difference here. Now, put all this together. Luxury brands, access to the best and top celebrity influencer talent on the planet, and a company that has expertise not just in knowing how to package new ventures together, but in creating the synergy between product brands, celebrities, and business operations. This may be one of the most important indications yet that content marketing, what we think of as content marketing, where businesses start to adopt full-scale media operations, well, it's just the future of marketing. It's just starting with these luxury brand and top Hollywood talent. Now, why should we care, especially for those of us who sell things like B2B financial services or healthcare or manufacturing capabilities or widgets or some other set of, well, not sexy luxury brands? Well, here's why. While this isn't unprecedented, it's still rare and it's still in the early stages for many of the industries that we all work in. It's not like we haven't seen this before, of course, because companies like Arrow Electronics, the manufacturer and distributor, purchased 53 engineering websites, magazines, and events and created a completely separate media company called Aspen Core. They still publish the magazines and provide brand content and all of those sorts of things, and they also help Arrow with their marketing content and content marketing. Salesforce, for example, launched Salesforce Plus, not just a streaming network, but a whole group within the company responsible for producing, packaging, and putting together series that sit alongside the content they syndicate from other sources. And just within the last few weeks, for example, agency giant McCann launched a social and creator content studio called and then basically focused on creating creators. The Arena Group, by the way, a publisher of Sports Illustrated, has also launched a content creator work in the last few months. And Crayola, the big company there, has just launched their kids content studio. So you can start to see the pieces coming together. These are all leading indicators to me and have me thinking hard about other kinds of brands. Who will be the innovators in financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, technology, construction, engineering, real estate? Who will create, acquire, or build a group that can operate like a media company, that actually gets to be a media company, packaging together talent, brands, media ventures that are meant to create ongoing operations, not just campaigns, ongoing operations that differentiate and create engaged audiences. When asked to comment about the CAA deal, Robert Burke, a leader luxury brand consulting firm in New York, commented that this was a natural, if not unprecedented, evolution. And he said, quote, "There is no separation between fashion and entertainment anymore." Well, I'd say it's still early, but the same is true across your industry, my industry as well. There's no separation between engaging audiences and your industry. This is the opportunity that we face in 2023 and coming into 2024. Acting like a media company is one thing. It's an opportunity to optimize your marketing campaigns. Operating as a media company is the opportunity to optimize your entire business. But let me know what you think. That was, well, a few more minutes this week of what you need to lead in marketing. And until I see you, remember, it's your story to tell, and start to tell it as a media company. Tell it well. I'll see you next week.